Good morning. Hey, this is Lee Steele. Good to see you. I hope you had a great week so far. It is Friday, and I hope that as you've been able to maybe get some of these little devotionals throughout the day, throughout the week, they've been an encouragement to you. It's a joy to be able to just talk to you this morning. Cool that we have the capability to do this. Um, just to communicate uh, online, electronically. It's pretty wild. But I hope you and your family are well. We've had a good week around the Steel House. But this morning I was thinking about I was reading in Deuteronomy, actually Deuteronomy 20, and reading about cities of refuge. And especially when things are kind of crazy in real life right now in 2020 in America and around the world. Um, it's it's easy to get just kind of get caught up in our own circumstances. But you want to talk about crazy? Talk about crazy is if you're out. Numbers 28 kind of lays out this scenario. If you're out in the woods and you're cutting down a tree, and your axe head flies off, and you're out there with your buddy, and your axe head hits him in the face and kills him. Um, this is like involuntary manslaughter, basically, right? It wasn't premeditated. There wasn't malicious intent, and so basically, this is accidental death. This is the scenario we're in, and that's kind of crazy scenario. So when God was laying down these laws and these rules for His people as they were about to enter the Promised Land and set up their nation, um, He he lays out this idea of cities of refuge, three on the east of the Jordan and three on the west of the Jordan, and they are to be places where people can run for safety. Right? It's not hard to draw the parallel straight to God Himself. Psalm 46:1 says, "God is our refuge and strength, a very present help in times of trouble." Um, in calamity, in chaos. It goes on to say that the mountains shake in the heart of the sea, though the waters roar and foam, we will not fear. And that could mean for Israelites, oftentimes armies coming against us. For us, it might mean fear of the unknown, fear of the future, fear, financial future, fear for health or safety. But God is our refuge and strength, and it doesn't take long to run straight to the cross, straight to Jesus, um, and view Jesus as our refuge, our safety. There's so many parallels um, between cities of refuge in the Old Testament and the gospel that that it's exclusive. It's the only way. Um, if you had somebody that accidentally killed their buddy or their neighbor, you wouldn't hear them complaining a whole lot about the exclusivity of the cities of refuge. They would just take refuge. There are borders, right? If the person who the family has if the person whom the family of the person that has died, they select the person that's like, all right, go after this dude. This is eye for an eye, old school and antiquated stuff. Eye for an eye, blood for blood kind of situation. And so the family of the slain party is going to pick a representative to go after the dude that accidentally killed their family member. And so um, if that person found the manslaughterer outside of the city of refuge, then then they could be killed, and the representative from the family that killed them wouldn't be held responsible as a murderer. There are boundaries to this, and there are boundaries to Jesus's protection. Honestly, right? Like in the cross, there is a responsibility, a volitional choosing on our part. You get in all kinds of conversations and debates, but there is something in us after and as the Spirit draws us that flees to Christ as refuge, and and we dwell there. another parallel. We're going to live there. We're not going to get outside of the framework of his salvation. Um, per usual, I've got like 30 thoughts going on in my brain. One of those is about grace and the grace that is offered in the gospel and the grace that is offered at the cross. Um, because I have been thinking recently in conversation yesterday with a buddy, thinking about our part, God's part, right? Like God saves. It is by grace you are saved through faith. We bring nothing to the equation. God draws and we respond. That's all we bring is a response to surrender to the gospel and the gift of salvation. That's our part. God does the saving, and God alone does the saving. I've been thinking about grace and obedience and our part in this walk with Jesus, and and the fact that what's the quote? I forget who said it. I wish I could cite it. Um, Grace is not anti-effort, but it is anti-earning. I think that's right. Grace is not anti-effort; it is anti-earning. Um, the grace of Jesus, as we respond to it, there are disciplines in our lives that we can establish and set up certain boundaries as we dwell in the refuge that is Jesus. Um, Obedience. The difference, of course, is the motivation. I love the verse where it says that obedience is not burdensome. Keeping the Lord's commands aren't burdensome for the one who has been saved, for the one who is dwelling in the refuge of the gospel on the cross. That's not. It's not. The commandments aren't burdensome to that person. We have a role to play after we're saved, in obedience, in dwelling with Jesus, in discipline. And I think the reason I'm thinking about all these things is just because um, I know me, and I've had conversations with some of you that that are that just acknowledge that for some it's a difficult time right now to obey, to dwell in Christ's good grace and gospel, to enjoy Him as refuge, to obey. Maybe right now, some of you are on screens now more than you have ever been in your life, and that's saying something because we live in a screen world, and so we have a responsibility here to to um, to guard what we're putting into our eyes and our minds, what we're letting ourselves allow into our ears. We've got a role and responsibility. There are opportunities now to serve people in different ways than maybe we ever have um, before in our lives. Just having to think creatively, really trying to listen for the Spirit, His quickening, His instruction, His guiding, and His leading as we seek to serve our families and our neighbors. And we've got a role and responsibility to um, to obey the Spirit in those moments. It's not earning God's favor. It's not earning His love. It's not earning grace that has already been extended to us. He has extended grace upon grace to us. But it is a response to enjoying and dwelling in the refuge that is Jesus. Um, is that we love to obey now. We love to. We desire to obey. I mean, we don't even love it, but at least there's a desire, man. This isn't burdensome when I get in my right frame of mind. That, man, Jesus is so good. God is so worthy of praise and glory that these commandments that He has laid out for me, they're not burdensome to me. Um, does that make sense? Got a lot of thoughts in my brain, but there's nothing unusual about that. I hope it's an encouragement to you, not a discouragement to you. I hope it's an encouragement. This quick word is to live in the city of refuge that is Jesus, enjoying His grace, not for not to try to earn God's favor, but just that there's a little bit of effort on our part to have guardrails and to live in in this refuge that is Christ. So if you, if you got any questions about it, which you might, holler at me. I love having these kind of conversations about, man, God's role is all God in salvation. What's our part in this sanctification process? Big word, right? Sanctification process. What's our role in that? How do we dwell in the gospel well today? So if you want prayer in that, if you want to discuss that further, man, holler at me. Shoot me an email, lee@bedrockchurch.com. I'd love to chat about it. But hope it's an encouragement just to kind of check in on the daily 9:15. We're right here. Of course, this Sunday on the website, on Facebook here will be the sermon. We are at this like penultimate event for the Israelites of crossing the Red Sea. And so Jeremy's up. He'll be with us on Sunday here, and we'll continue moving forward. We'll continue loving people well. Let's serve people well. Let's engage as best we can with the world around us with the hope and the gospel of Jesus. So have a great day. I hope you're encouraged this morning. If you need prayer for anything, holler at me. Let me know. Let any of us know. Your small group leader, any pastor, man. We love you. We're for you. We miss you, but